Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Great Coliseum, the Bristol Motor Speedway, for the WCI Parts.com Truck Series here in Sim 500 competition. It is cutoff night for the playoffs, and boy, we've got a very interesting championship standing matchup heading in to tonight. We'll get to that here in just a moment, but now I'll introduce you to the crew tonight alongside Aaron Grosskopf tonight and Ben Kilcrease and Mitch Rollo down there getting a picture that you see to you. And here we go, Aaron, heading into Bristol tonight. We'll go over the championship standings real quick. Jason Jacoby, he is about 7 ahead of the cutoff line. Richard Swavely right there on the cutoff line. Brian Chambliss 3 behind the cutoff line. Then there's a tie for the 17th spot between Chambliss and Ritter, so both 3 back. Brian Macklin 4 points back off of the cutoff line. So a lot of these guys are out in this cutoff for sweating bullets prior to the green flag of this thing, because as we know, anything possible here at Bristol.
Yeah, Ben, it's a great show. Great to be up here in the booth with you tonight. Really excited. The Sim500 guys have been racing in Bristol all week this week, and I really hope that they put on a good show tonight in the trucks.
Looking forward to a great show. 150 laps under the lights here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Looks like Trey Edson going to grab the pole here tonight in that number 40 machine, and he not really has to worry too much about the championship standings. I don't believe he's running for the points here in this series. He focuses more. I'm sorry, he's running for the points. My goodness, he sits second, so that's why he's not worrying about the points. He's only 35 out of the lead. So Trey Edson, nothing to worry about there. Chad Cole, he doesn't have anything to worry about. Nick Silver, Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman, David Comstock, Joe Rourke, Tommy Ryan, Ryan Howard, Kevin Brown. Those are the top 10 in the championship standings. Not really sweating much tonight. J.D. Laird, Steve Gottschalk, Jason Barham, Doug Sigmund, all those guys are comfortable. But from Jason Jacoby, Richard Swavely, Brian Chambliss, Steve Ritter, Brian Macklin, those names you need to remember as the race goes on tonight. And as we say that, and as we get ready to drop the green flag tonight, we'll run you through tonight's starting lineup, and here's how they'll come to the green flag. It'll be Trey Edson leading us to the green flag, and that number 40 machine to his outside, it'll be Jason Jacoby in the number 88. Kevin Brown will roll off inside of row number 2, and the number 93 to his outside, it'll be Justin Fuller. Brian Macklin and E.J. O'Rourke share the 3rd row. Steve Gottschalk and Ryan Howard make up row number 4, the 91 and the 33, and Brian Chambliss, Doug Sigmund, 2506, round out the top 10 as the rest of the field set to scroll across the bottom of your screen as we get set to drop the green flag here tonight. Aaron, 150 laps. What's the strategy call for one of these drivers or the crews heading into this race? Do we take it easy early on, or do we try and get every track position possible, within these first handful of opening laps?
Well, if it plays into the way that things played out on Sunday, I mean, track position is at a premium because you really couldn't pass here in the Xfinity cars. So, and another thing that we noticed is tires. You got to get 4 because 2 tires did not work out for a couple people in the field.
So we'll keep an eye on that over the course of the night, and pretty sure the High Line going to be the place to be once the tires get some heat built up and we get a nice run going. Maybe can work the inside for a couple laps under initial green flag run or after a restart, but after that we'll be up against the wall here at the Bristol Motor Speedway as the field set to roll off here. As a driver heading into this race, it's hard to really guesstimate where you're going to qualify, but if you're one of those drivers on the outside line, well, you've got a pretty good starting spot here to get this race going.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trey Edson will get it done tonight, man. I mean, Fuller, he's had an up and down week at Bristol. Trey Edson, pretty good at these kind of tracks. Justin Fuller, pretty good. Kevin DeBrown showed some speed. And don't count out Jason Jacoby because they'll put on a show too.
And Brian Macklin, one of those on the outside looking in, so he is got to have a good night tonight here at Bristol if he wants to make the playoffs. Final race to do so is tonight. So the pace car getting set to take the field around one more time here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and we're getting set to drop the green flag. Next time by is the field going to be under the control of Trey Edson for this first and initial green flag. Again, Edson and Jacoby make up the first row, and You already see those guys working through the high banks here at Bristol Motor Speedway, the short track in Bristol, Tennessee. Half-mile short track racing under the lights on a Wednesday night, what the trucks were made for, and it's the cutoff night for the WCI Parts.com Truck Series. 150 laps ahead of us. Do we make some friends or do we make some foes tonight here at the Bristol Motor Speedway? We'll find out at 150 laps. Pace car down to pit road. Trey Edson has control of the field. He is in the gas, and we are underway at Bristol. Edson gets the whole shot to the back straightaway. He'll take an early lead, and Jacoby right up to the second position. Fuller down to the bottom. He'll go to third. Brown around the outside of the racetrack. He'll hold on to the fourth position. Brian Macklin rounds out the top five on lap number one. Is already seeing some varying lines here in the first couple of laps. Some drivers working the bottom side for the first few laps. Some drivers up around the wall of the racetrack. One of those drivers up around the wall, that 88 of Jason Jacoby. The two drivers working the bottom side of the racetrack, Fuller and Edson. So got a couple different lines up here in the top five, and both pretty equal here early on, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, you see Jacoby right up against that wall, trying to figure out where he's comfortable tonight. We saw in the races a lot of the faster guys were able to run the bottom, which is kind of different. So we'll see. We'll see how it prevails here later on in the run.
So, trying to rhythm going here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. So Trey Edson leading here at the Bristol Motor Speedway early on, and battle going to be for second behind. Justin Fuller working to the inside of Jason Jacoby. They'll go side by side to the front straightaway. Dead even there at the line. Give it to Jacoby by just a couple of thousandths of a second. And Fuller trying to make that pass over in turn number two. Now down to 3 and 4. Still side by side for the runner-up spot. Fuller a slight advantage there as they work to the front stretch.
Yeah, Jacoby keeps getting in that wall a little bit. I don't know if it's a little bit of lag or what, as Fuller cuts him off there. Great battle between these two drivers.
Great battle indeed, as Fuller going to clear the 88 there on the front straightaway and try and set sail and maybe run down Trey Edson as Brian Macklin now moves up, and we have the first caution flag of the night here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and it's going to be, well, not sure who it's going to be for. And a lot of times here at Bristol, they just spin around real quick and get it back on. But it looks like John Weston in the 3 machine may be involved and running 13th at the time of the incident. Replay coming up, and just got loose by himself into the inside safer barrier, and we'll see that a lot here tonight at Bristol. It gets tricky on corner exit as the run goes on.
Yeah, and we definitely saw that a lot in the Sunday race here on the SRN as well. Just the little bit of elevation change was a little dip in the racetrack, and it makes the car really light on exit. And that was a product of the Bristol racing there.
Absolutely. So, first caution of the night here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and perfect time for, well, the field to head down the pit road and for us to take a quick commercial break. We'll do that and return right here to the Great Coliseum. You're watching the WCI Parts.com Truck Series at Bristol.
TransService has flourished and retained customers for multiple decades. How? By making our word our bond and delivering the most responsive service and transparent financial details to give our clients the best all-around value in the industry. By not providing cookie-cutter, one-size-fits-all, off-the-shelf solutions. Instead, crafting tailored, customer-centric solutions for each client's individualized business model and needs. By empowering highly ethical, dedicated associates to build true partnerships and mutually beneficial relationships with our accounts. And by cultivating long-term, loyal customers and vendors through each and every one of these guiding principles, and maintaining those relationships with transparent, quality operations. That's why TransService has been successful for 50 years, and that's how we'll continue to grow and flourish long into the future. Let us show you why many of our clients have been with us for over 20 years. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
the best. You got him 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Ben Kilcrease having a little bit of technical difficulties with his end of things over there, so I'm going to take over for just a few minutes here with Aaron Grosskopf beside me here as they work into turn number 3, getting ready to take the green flag yet again here after our first caution at Bristol, with Brian Macklin leading the field right now. And pace car is off, and we are racing here. Brian Macklin gets away pretty good out in front of Trey Edson as they head into turn number 1.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to hit on since we were at break, there was a lot of pandemonium on pit road. A lot of guys made mistakes on pit road, and that could cost you the race if you're one of the front runners.
Could cost you the race, and we'll see if that has an effect on those guys going forward. But right now, Trey Edson trying to chase down that 30 of Brian Macklin, going for that lead. And behind them, mostly single file, but the first side-by-side battle is going to be between Jason Jacoby and the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. Coming down the front straightaway right now, E.J. trying to make things happen on that bottom line, not able to do it as of yet.
Yeah, the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke, it's been a while since he's been able to run up front with these guys. You know, it's been a tough time. He's definitely poised for a good run here at Bristol tonight.
Poised for a good run and good showing early on here. And back up front, looking at Trey Edson, he is just stalking the 30 of Brian Macklin, but Macklin doing a nice job of just running around that high line right now, hold them off. We're going to see that a lot tonight. These guys are going to be wanting to run that top line to get that good run off of the corner and down the straightaway to be able to fend off that bottom line. But Justin Fuller working his way back up right on the bumper of his teammate Trey Edson as they work down the straightaway there and into turn number 1. Fuller running down Edson for second right now.
Yeah, good battle between these two teammates. They get to spend a lot of time racing against each other in this league because they're two of the top drivers. And we are seeing them run identical lines. Every once in a while it'll change, but it just seems to be they're just biding their time. They're reeling the 30.
Biding their time, doing a nice job of it. They're running down that 30. Brian Macklin once again down the front straightaway, that time 0.2 of a second behind the leader was Trey Edson as he works the bottom line now, trying to catch up with the 30. And here he comes into turn number 3, and I believe our lead commentator is back after getting those technical difficulties sorted out.
Yeah, we had to get the screwdriver out of the van. Had to run down to do that. Thanks for filling in there for me, Mitch. We work lap 23 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, closing in on the 1/6 mark of this race for all you math gurus out there, and got a great battle going on for the lead like they've been covering for the past couple of laps as Macklin continuing to fend off Trey Edson for the time being, kind of being stalked by Justin Fuller, and that battle for 4th ongoing there between O'Rourke and Jacoby. O'Rourke working the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to work the middle group as we look out of the back of that number 30 of Brian Macklin, and you'll see, well, you won't see him now because he's side by side with him down the back straightaway. Trey Edson closing in on the inside, trying to make the pass down low for the lead off turn 4. Brian Macklin pretty much in a must-win situation to lock himself into the playoffs tonight, and he's doing everything in his power to do that as he races down the back straightaway side by side with the 40.
Lot of experience between these drivers in the top 3. As you see Edson finally get by and is going to start setting sail. As you see the teammate of the 40, the 51, work under the 30 as well. And he is about to be side by side.
So we go on board with Fuller there as he clears his 30 machine off of turn number 4. And now he'll move up to the runner-up spot, moving Macklin back to 3rd here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And Well, just like that, Macklin goes from in a good position back to kind of on offense, trying to get as many positions as he can to lock himself into the playoffs here tonight.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this new point system that we use in most leagues. I mean, you gotta be smart all year to be able to make it work, man. And when you're in a cutoff situation, he's literally driving his heart out, kind of like how we've seen Matt Benedetto drive his heart out in the real race at Bristol.
Absolutely. So trying everything he can to work it and up into a spot to gain some more points to lock himself into the playoffs, trying to be in contention for the championship here this year in the WCI Parts.com Truck Series. Macklin sits third right now, and checking in on Ritter, one of those drivers around the chase spot. He's back in the 21st position. We go through the field just looking here. Jason Jacoby, one of those guys that was up and in contention or locked in heading into tonight. He's dropped back to 7th here. J.D. Laird, one of those right on the bubble. J.D. Laird was up inside he was in the safe zone. Jacoby was one of those on the bubble, and he's kind of falling back, and that's not good. If you're already on the bubble, you need to try and maintain as many positions on track as you can.
Yeah, and I just saw something as we were checking on Jacoby. Here comes the 42. We saw it on Sunday. We didn't really talk about him much until the end of the race, but he is on the move right now.
Up from 13th to 8th is David Comstock, and trying to work on Jacoby for the 7th position. He's followed closely by that 93 of Brown, who has been about the biggest dropper of the race from 3rd to 9th. That 93 just not seem to get going here in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, it's a real tough break for the 93, because it's going to be hard to make those spots back up unless he gets a couple mistakes on pit road, or a caution falls right for him or something like that. But it's going to be hard to make those spots back up. He really needs to start digging now.
Absolutely. And Bristol Motor Speedway, one of the hardest racetracks on the surface to make a pass and to do it cleanly. It's a short track. You say, well, you can use the bump and run. Not so much here in Bristol. You're so fast. The track is just so weird. It's hard to perform a bump and run at times here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So that's not always part of the equation. Even though it is a short track race, really, really tough to pass. Up front, Trey Edson 1.2 seconds over Justin Fuller. I think Edson and Bristol mend really well together as he just continues to open that gap. Justin Fuller right there in second. He's got a challenge back from that 30 machine of Brian Macklin, who is not falling too far off the tailgate. He's closely behind that 51 machine. So Macklin, he's going to be there if Justin Fuller slips up and makes a mistake.
I think, Macklin's just sitting there and trying to get what he can, trying to keep his truck clean, hoping that other people have problems to really get those valuable points for him to continue on in this chase.
Absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on Macklin and Fuller over the next couple laps as those two run second and third. Ryan Howard has worked his way up and into the 4th position in that number 33. And how about a big mover, J.D. Laird, from 22nd to 5th. Big mover for the 46, and he's not done yet. He's looking on the inside of Howard there. Was the last go around, but he's looking to work his way even further up and inside the top 5.
Everyone knows J.D. Laird as the big sim painter. A lot of the faster guys use him. He's a friend with a lot of people in the sim community. But he is putting on a show and putting on a statement that he is more than just a sim painter tonight.
Certainly, yes, he is having a great run here tonight at Bristol. He's had a couple of great runs throughout the season, but just really hasn't been able to materialize any of them. But if he sticks with this tonight here at Bristol, he is going to have a good finish in that 5th position. And right behind him, David Comstock. Remember, he was 9th a couple laps ago. He's up to 6th in that 42 as he's slowly but surely making his way through the field here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So Comstock almost cracking the top 5 himself, as it's Edson still out in front of Fuller. His lead opening up about another 10th over the past couple of laps. Then it's Macklin sitting 3rd, Howard 4th, Laird 5th, Comstock 6th, O'Rourke, Jacoby, Gottschalk, and Silver. And how about this gaggle of trucks around that 9th position? Silver holds on to the final top 10 spot. Then right behind him, Brown and Coleman going at it for 11th. Coleman down on the inside. And that number 20 machine, he's up from 19th to 11th for the driver of that number 20. And how about that for a slider off turn 4? Throws it right up in front of the 93. Says, excuse me, pardon me, I'm coming through.
Yeah, Coleman, one of those guys that came on out of nowhere to grab a third-place finish on Sunday night. Really makes me think that he's got this place figured out with a good run here tonight as well.
Coleman's got a lot of places figured out here on iRacing. He's one of those that really is a sleeper. He doesn't really strike until usually late in the race, or if he is having a good race, or if he's feeling confident about the race, he'll get up and jump up in there in contention early on as he gets by Steve Gottschalk. Gottschalk kind of just lets those faster guys go. He knows that he's not going to hold them up, and if he does, he might get the bumpers. So a smart move there by the driver of the 91 has Gottschalk now back to 11th, and they're side by side. A great battle between Brown and Bowie right behind that 91 machine. Some tight racing there off turn 4.
Yeah, the one in Brandon Bowie, another guy that's got a lot of tracks figured out, a lot of experience, and really good at short tracks, if I do remember correctly. Really good to see him running up front tonight too, starting a charge to the front.
Absolutely, and well, just like that, second caution of the night got to fly here at Bristol, and it is going to be, looks like for Doug Sigmund, and that 06 got some pretty heavy damage, and it happened in front of him with Dwayne Vincent and Jeff Ryan. Some contact sending the 67 around off the bumper of the 13, and Sigmund just a victim there of really none of his doing. That's the thing here at Bristol, though, Aaron. Everything happens so quick, it's hard to really put the binders on and check up in time to get slowed down and avoid any crashes.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's nowhere to go. There's not a lot of room. And if you go to the apron, you're going to end up finding yourself in the wall, as we saw Kevin DeBrown after coming off the apron, finding himself in the wall under caution.
I do believe that was last week at the Michigan International Speedway. You can find that on our YouTube page. That's certainly something you want to check out. But Doug Sigmund, one of those drivers, he was 14th heading into tonight. Yeah, about 28 points to the good. We only have 27 trucks here tonight, so I mean he's going to finish around 25th or so. He's going to be cutting it close for Doug Sigmund, and we'll try and get you everything, all the championship standings as quick as we can at the conclusion of the race. That'll be all unofficial and pending the official review, rather. Trey Edson beats everybody off pit road. He'll lead us back to the green flag. Justin Fuller going to be second. Looks like Fuller may have tagged the wall under caution, so maybe he's channeling his inner Kevin Brown. Ryan Howard going to be third. J.D. Laird fourth. Brian Macklin drops back to fifth after that round of pit stop, so he loses another 2 spots there. And again, outside looking in, you can't afford to lose spots under caution.
Yeah, you really can't, because you can't make them up. You just can't pass here, and I mean that's a part of Bristol, man. You just got to be perfect all day to win at this Coliseum.
And we saw, you know, the fans out there may say, well, there's a lot of passing going on there. True, but a lot of that was a lot of give, and if it wasn't, it was a lot of take. It's not like a mile and a half. You get a good run off the corner, you pull down the straightaway, side draft, and then pass into the next turn. By the time you even think about pulling down, you're already turning into the next turn. That's how fast we go here at Bristol, and how small it is. It's just it's a completely different beast, and it's hard to really describe how hard it is to pass here without really you experiencing it yourself. Nonetheless, though, second caution of the night, just under 100 laps to go. We're good on fuel to the end if that does become an issue, so keep that in mind as lights go off atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. It's been a fairly calm race so far, Aaron. Do you think we'll see that pick up over the next couple of laps?
Well, I think now that you jinxed it, we're going to be in for a
Definitely.
long night. Now that Ben has jinxed it, we're going to be in for a long night. I hope not, but we
Hope
will
they
see.
prove us
Hopefully
wrong.
the sim racing gods will smile at us.
Let's hope the drivers prove us wrong. Edson choosing the inside, Fuller outside, Howard, Laird, Macklin, O'Rourke. That's the first 3 rows for this restart as pace car pulls down the pit road to stack them up 2 by 2 by 2. Fuller, a little bit of anticipation, going to stack that outside up, and green flag back in the air. Trey Edson off to an early lead. He'll get the whole shot off turn 2 as he has all night long, except for that one restart where Brian Macklin restarted in the lead, but Macklin going to be mired back in that 4th spot, and he's got a battle right in front of him. They were 3 wide for a brief moment behind them with Jacoby, O'Rourke, and Comstock. Some close racing going on back here. Oh, Jacoby's going to be up and into the wall. O'Rourke gets a piece of it. Chad Cole goes sideways. Jacoby in the wall. Jacoby is around. He spins. Steve Ritter spins in the 16-2 championship contenders involved in this caution.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you see at Bristol, Ben. You know, and that group of drivers that you see the replay right now, I'll let Ben take over.
Yeah, that was just the 88 trying to get every inch on the track he could. Kind of cleared himself, but O'Rourke was there. And then down the straightaway, I don't think O'Rourke was too happy with him. Got him back in the quarter panel and said, hey, I don't like that. So that put Jacoby in the wall, and he's going to lose a plethora of positions here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Not good for his championship bid heading into tonight. Again, he was only, about 7 points to the good. So we'll keep that in mind over the course of this race. We'll see if he can rebound and find himself back inside the playoffs, because right now, I know this is unofficial, but right now it looks like Jacoby would not make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's really tough, man. You sit here and you put in all this time and effort, this whole season, and to have one little mistake by you or others end it for you, it's a tough pill to swallow, Ben, in any forms of racing.
Certainly is. So, a couple of guys having a decent night here at Bristol. Brian Macklin up inside the top 5. He's 4th. Again, heading into tonight, he was 19th in points, about 4 off the cut line. So he's looking good. Steve Ritter, he was just involved in that most recent incident with Jacoby, but Ritter scored 15th right now. Richard Swavely, one of those drivers needing some points, he scored 22nd, actually scratched at 17th. Now they're as the scoring refreshes. So a lot of these guys, it's going to be it may come down to a tie to who gets into the playoffs, who doesn't, and it's really heating up over these next 100 or so laps, or just under 90 now here at Bristol. It's getting good, and I'm getting all tongue twisted because I'm trying to do the math in my head, trying to relay all that to you guys out there. It's getting close. It's going to be close to who makes it and who doesn't here in this cutoff race.
Who would have known our own Ben Kilcrease, the math whiz of sim racing?
I'm usually pretty good with numbers, but when you have to add them and subtract them, and then that's where it gets confusing.
Absolutely. I'll leave that to you, man. I'll worry about other things.
So it's going to be Trey Edson leading us back to the green flag after that short stint, and hopefully we can get some more green flag runs under our belts tonight. We've had about, I'd say, 55 or so green flag laps of the 65 so far tonight. So that's a pretty good run, only serving our 3rd caution period of the evening. It has been the Trey Edson show.
That says a lot about the people at Sim500. Sorry for stepping on you there, Ben.
You're fine.
Just a good group of drivers, man. Really good group of drivers. Great people. And they put on fantastic shows all year to this point.
That they have. And I was saying, it's been the Trey Edson show so far tonight. Macklin had a small spotlight moment just a couple of laps after a restart, but Edson was able to get by him and kind of set sail again, which is what he's going to try and do on this restart. Edson stacks the field up off turn 4. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway. Now, he's not going to clear the 51 down the straightaway, but here into turn 1, he'll have the 51 cleared to the back straightaway. Trey Edson, oh, and Fuller hard in the wall off of turn 2. Big time contact as we get the replay pulled up off there, and just as that happens, a caution going to fly on the racetrack. It's the 4th one of the night here at Bristol, and it is for another championship contender. Brian Chambliss involved in this one. That all happened with a netcode bump from Kevin Brown there, sending the 25 sideways, and then Jabu kind of blocked the bumpers with him there and finished him off. Not a lot of contact. I think his truck's still going to be okay, but nonetheless going to put us under caution for the 4th time here at Bristol. And well, we're gonna we're gonna turn the championship standings upside down once again. I'm gonna go do a voodoo dance, and while I do that, we'll take a commercial right here on the Sim Racing Network. We'll be back with some more racing in the WCI Parts.com Truck Series.
Trans Service has flourished and retained customers for multiple decades. How? By making our word our bond and delivering the most responsive service and transparent financial details to give our clients the best all-around value in the industry. By not providing cookie-cutter, one-size-fits-all, off-the-shelf solutions. Instead, crafting tailored, customer-centric solutions for each client's individualized business model and needs. By empowering highly ethical, dedicated associates to build true partnerships and mutually beneficial relationships with our accounts. And by cultivating long-term, loyal customers and vendors through each and every one of these guiding principles, and maintaining those relationships with transparent, quality operations. That's why Trans Service has been successful for 50 years, and that's how we'll continue to grow and flourish long into the future. Let us show you why many of our clients have been with us for over 20 years. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
How to make a kick-ass Bloody Mary. First, visit your nearest Apollo liquor store in Rochester or Austin. Pick up a bottle or 2 of Kick-Ass Bloody Mary mix and all the fixings. Then fill your glass with Kick-Ass Bloody Mary and your favorite vodka. Add the Kick-Ass fixings. Now it's time to enjoy a Kick-Ass Bloody Mary, and of course, repeat as needed. Get your Kick-Ass Bloody Mary mix and all the fixings today at any of the Apollo locations in Rochester and Austin. It's just that good.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, closing in on halfway, 77 laps to go here at the Great Coliseum. It's Trey Edson leading us back to the green flag. Justin Fuller will be to the outside. Brian Macklin restarts 3rd. 4th, J.D. Laird. E.J. O'Rourke will be 5th. 6th to Ryan Howard as we get ready to step on the gas pedal off turn number 4 and get us back to green flag racing here. Lights out on the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. He'll pull down to the safety of pit road. They'll stack him up 2 by 2 by 2. Edson in the gas, and we're back underway. Quicker that time than pretty much any restart of the night. And Edson leads us down into 1 and 2, and off of turn 2 to the back straightaway. Side by side battle for that 3rd spot. Macklin to the inside. Laird on the outside. They'll go side by side off turn 4. Some tight quarter racing here at Bristol. Does Macklin try and slide up in front of that 41? We've already seen that if you don't give the 41 a lot of room, he's not going to return it in the favor. But Macklin able to get up and in front of O'Rourke there off turn number 2 and to the front straightaway. Macklin will be scored 4th. J.D. Laird from 22nd to 3rd. Now, we said you couldn't pass here at Bristol. I think he's proved us all wrong.
Well, I mean, J.D. Laird's proven that he's a nice little driver as well, man. Like I said, he's mostly known for being a iRacing graphic designer. And he is showing that he's more than that, just that.
Gets wicked loose off of turn 2 there, and as did O'Rourke behind him. That allowed Macklin to get back around the outside. Here comes Ryan Howard to the outside of the 41. Down into turn number 1. That'll be for the 5th position. So the 33 trying to get another spot on O'Rourke off of turn number 2. Give it to him. Down into 3. Howard up to P5. And now trying to chase down J.D. Laird, who got slipped up off turn 2 a couple laps ago and fell back to 4th behind Macklin. And Macklin, just like that, has caught the 51 down into turn 3. And kind of a different line than I was expecting to see tonight. A lot of these guys choosing the inside, and it seemed to be working for them.
Yeah, as I touched on, Ben, it was the same thing Sunday night on our past broadcast with the Xfinity car at Sim500. The same thing. You would expect him to be at the top. The history is the top line's faster.
Yep.
Some guys like the top. Others guys find that there's more speed on the bottom. So can't wait to see how this is going to change later on in the race.
It's just all about personal preference and where you like it. You like it a little bit tight, you like it a little bit loose. You can search around and find what fits you best. Off of turn 2, Justin Fuller continuing to hold on to that runner-up spot. Brian Macklin sits 3rd. Laird back to 4th. Ryan Howard rounds out the top 5, and no real battles inside the top 10 as got a couple of small battles just outside the top 10. There's Dwayne Vincent trying to fend off Brendan Bowie for that 13th position just ahead of him. Chad Cole's been working over the rear bumper of the 99 of Tommy Ryan for the past couple laps, trying to better himself and up and into the top 10 for the driver of the 82.
Yeah, Chad Cole, I know he's a really good short track driver. Really, I don't think he qualified well, and he's just taking his time and hoping everything works out for him where he can get a good finish in the end.
Didn't qualify at all. Didn't put a time down and started 23rd, rather, and has found himself up to 12th. And you mentioned pretty good short track driver for the Big Cat. Yeah, I know that. Him and I had a great battle at Eldora in the JGR All-Season Sim Series. He outlasted me there in the main event, but I got a couple of one-ups on him in the qualifying round, so I'll take that to the grave as Chad Cole trying to make that bottom side work, but it's not really working at the back end of the field. As see Dwayne Vincent able to sneak around the outside of that 82, and here comes Brendan Bowie. So Chad Cole, whilst trying to make up a couple of positions, going to lose 2.
Yeah, that's a tough break for the Big Cat there. Just needs to get back in the high side and regroup.
Which is what he'll try to do here, try and find a line there, and gets up in front of the 91. So on board with Chad Cole. You see a bumper there just in front of him from Vincent to O'Rourke in the center of 1 and 2, and these guys getting a little racy up here. Tommy Ryan was able to make the inside work, and I think O'Rourke's holding these guys up and gets another bumper there. Dwayne Vincent says, excuse me, pardon me, coming through. I'm a little bit faster in this part of the run. Brown got out of shape just in front of him off turn 4 the last time around. Kind of checked everybody up there as well. Here comes Vincent again on the bumper of the 41. Close racing here, just outside the top 10.
Yeah, and I think as we're getting later in the race, the track's getting slicker, which everybody's trying to fight their way in these championships, and they're not really giving a lot of take like we've seen in the, giving a lot of room and not a lot of give and take as we've seen in the beginning, Ben.
Absolutely, everybody trying to, if they get the position, they're going to take it immediately. Like you see Brandon Bowie there, right up in front of the 41, wasting no time. Sure, Vincent gets clear, he'll slide up in front of the 41, but he has a little bobble over in 3 and 4, has to check up and allows the 41 to clear himself off the nose net 13 once again. Just in front of them, Brandon Bowie, Kevin Brown going to do a little battle here, and Brown going to run the middle side. Bowie all the way against the apron off of turn 4. Some close quarter racing, almost some contact there down the front straightaway as these two drivers right here battle for a spot inside the top 10, the final spot inside the top 10. Bowie down low, Brown up high.
Yeah, I think Brown's just slid that truck off the corners a few more times than he should have, and he's really losing the handling of that machine right now, Ben.
Absolutely, as he's fallen back to 11th for the 93, as now he's under fire from the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. Now, the frame could be bent from that contact with the wall under caution last week as well, as O'Rourke has a big wiggle off of the turn there, allows Vincent to get up and around the outside, and he's going to bring Chad Cole with him. So O'Rourke going to lose 2 spots here in a matter of a lap or so, and if he's not careful, we got Shuck going to fill in that line behind the 82 as well. So O'Rourke working the bottom side, trying to work his way back up into some of those positions that he lost with that slip up off the turn. Up front, it's all Trey Edson out in front of the field, 1.4 seconds, kind of reminiscent of the first run we had here at Bristol, and right behind him, battle for second. Macklin to the inside, Fuller around the outside of the racetrack, and Fuller going to give it to Macklin, and that's something you really don't see too often out of the 51, is him just kind of pulling over and letting somebody go.
Yeah, but I think he realizes that Macklin's going for it. I'm pretty sure that Justin Fuller's already in the show for the first round of the playoffs, and he realizes that the 30's really out there driving for his life, and kind of gave him a little bit of encouragement.
Oh, and now he spins. Fuller sideways, and he gets collected there a little bit with Laird. Close call there. A great save by the 51. I thought he was around for sure. Sideways, most definitely, as Fuller loses a handful of spots.
Maybe just letting the 30 go just got him off his game, and he just forgot where he was at there for a second.
Could be. Bristol, it's a huge rhythm track, and if you break the rhythm here, it is so hard to get back into it, and that could be what it was. He checks up just a little bit more in one turn, and then a couple turns later, trying to get back into that rhythm, has a slip up, like you saw there, as Fuller now has fallen outside top 5. He sits 7th now here on the French straightaway as they complete lap 103, working 104, and Trey Edson working over the field right now. Almost a 2-second lead out in front of this WCIparts.com Truck Series field.
And if I do remember correct, I think Trey Edson also had a good run of in the trucks at this track. It was a day race during the off-season series with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yep, if I'm not mistaken, he won a show here and got himself a trip to Texas.
Yeah, so he definitely knows how to get it done here, and it's definitely showing as he is proven and making a statement as a class of the field tonight, Ben.
On board with Trey Edson. Let's just go quiet here in the booth for a minute and let him take us for a couple laps here around the Great Coliseum. Makes it look easy. Does the 40 of Trey Edson. Smooth out in front of the field, not getting on the throttle too early, not sliding those rear tires, just nice and easy going in that Chevrolet Silverado. Out in front, pacing the field, 2-second lead for Trey Edson here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and he continues to open that up a half a tenth a lap. He is not slowing down. He's moved up to the top side of the racetrack, and there's contact in front of him. A close call there. Cone on the racetrack. We don't have debris cautions here in iRacing, thankfully, or that would have certainly brung it out, but a close call there for leader Trey Edson.
And you see the cone, at least on my screen, man, the cone is stuck in the front of the 88.
Yep. So hey, that may be affecting the handling of Jacoby's machine. He is one lap down, and he was one of those drivers that needed every point he could to stay to the good to make the playoffs. And right now, doesn't look like that's going to happen for the driver of the 88, who is, like I said, one lap down and very severely damaged.
Man, you gotta say Trey Edson definitely got scared there seeing those cars sliding, and they parted just enough where he could squeak by without any incident.
Absolutely. So Edson gets very clear of those lap machines there and has opened up, or he had to chunk up a big time, or a lot rather, in that incident, and Brian McElroy had to close in big time in that 30 machine, but now Edson has started to open up his lead yet again here at Bristol, closing in on 30 laps to go here in about 4 laps. So this race has gone by pretty quick tonight here at Bristol Motor Speedway. They have, once they go in the green here, laps tick off pretty quick.
Yeah, they do, Ben. And one thing I want to say, man, Sim500, they do an excellent job putting these races together, putting these drivers together, putting these seasons together for people to enjoy the sim the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. If you're interested in signing up, please check them out, sim500.com. We do have some openings. We've got some upcoming events and upcoming seasons if you want to get in on the action. Once again, sim500.com. Go check it out.
And while you're there, be sure to give the Facebook page a like. That way you can stay up to date with all the latest happenings with the post-race rundown and the broadcast tuned-in links as well. Find them over on Facebook, Sim500 Esports Racing League. So Trey Edson, just, I tell you what, class of the field tonight. We'll call this Trey Edson 150. If he goes on to win this thing, he is just not slowed up at all. Out in front of this field, Brian Macklin sits second. He's doing everything he has to do to make the playoffs, and I'll say unofficially right now he is in position to do that. So a good run from Macklin. P2 may have him up and into the playoffs.
Yeah, Macklin's just sitting there and just riding. He's closing in a little bit. I think that was because of that little scare. I think Edson's kind of pulled it back to try and stay off the lap cars unless he has to. Just so he has some room in case an accident happens to get around everybody.
We have got an absolute gaggle of trucks right around David Comstock, and they're going to go 3 wide with Fuller up through the middle. Look out. Almost contact, or almost a collision there, as Fuller really had to put the brakes on. A close call off turn number 4, as Jacoby kind of holding up these guys in that battered number 88 machine. And now Jacoby is sideways, and bang, into the wall goes the 99 of Tommy Ryan.
Yeah, I saw Jacoby get kind of punted by the 51. No give and take from the 51 into the 88 for sure.
So, big moment there as Tommy Ryan gets about the worst end of that, as you see the replay there. And now a caution on the racetrack, as there's been a tangle inside the top 5 between J.D. Laird and Brandon Bowie. It happened with J.D. Laird off of turn 4. Oh, wow. That's just a bad occurrence there. Laird got loose, and while he was saving his truck, Fuller got loose and put the 46 head on hard into the wall. On the front stretch, Brendan Bowie had nowhere to go but into the door of the 46, putting us under caution for the 5th time here at Bristol.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough break, as you see the 46 making it into his pit stall and has to back up because he's not straight for the crew to change his tires. Not enough room on this pit road. Not a lot of room at all. And that's really a tough break. He really had a good run going. It's hard, but that's just how the cookie crumbles here at Bristol.
Most definitely as... Oh, Macklin gonna win the race off of pit road? Maybe. No, it looks like they'll give it to Edson. Close race there for sure. Now, if you were to watch the replay of that, here's the deal. In real life, that yellow line at the end of pit road would be, to quote, finish line for pit road. Here in iRacing, It's the green cones. That signifies the end of pit road. And boy, Edson was about a bumper away from having to restart this race in second position.
Yeah, and that could have really changed everything, Ben. I mean, being able to choose the lane that you restart, being able to choose when you go in the restart zone, it definitely helps at a track like this because it's so hard to make up time unless somebody's really fast. And these drivers have not been as fast as Trey Edson. That would have been his shot to get the win here for the 30 for sure. He's still got plenty of time left, but we'll have to see how everything unfolds.
Absolutely. It's a whole lot easier to make the truck wider than it is to chase down somebody that's been faster than you all night long. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So Brian Macklin going to restart second. It'll be Trey Edson out in front. That's been about the story of the night for a good portion of the evening. Then you have Ryan Howard, who will restart third. David Comstock fourth. J.D. Laird, even after the contact there, is going to be fifth. And I'm not sure if that truck's even going to be close to being up to speed. Surely not after the hit that he took. But he'll restart fifth. Kevin Brown going to restart sixth. Seventh is going to be E.J. O'Rourke, Chad Coleman, Richard Swavely, and Brian Chambliss. Chambliss and Swavely, two of those drivers competing for a playoff spot as well. So we'll keep those guys, keep an eye on those guys as well as we get closer and closer to the finish of this race. It's coming up as lights go off atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. Everybody gets to wave arounds, and we're getting set up for a 19-lap shootout to the finish here at the Great Coliseum. And hold your breath, because these 19 laps going to tick off pretty quick here at Bristol. About 15 seconds a lap for these guys, so hold on. It's going to go quick. Anything possible? Does Trey Edson hold on and complete this dominant run he's got, or does Brian Macklin have enough to maybe sneak out a win here and lock himself into the playoffs? Green flag back in the air, back underway with 19 to go. Macklin trying to hold off Ryan Howard for second, and if you're Brian Macklin, you can't put your position or yourself into a position to crash here this late in the race. You have to, if you lose one spot here, it's okay. Don't fall outside the top five, though, as Macklin doing everything he can to hold on. He's cleared the 33 now as David Comstock has moved up into third. Maybe it's time for the 42 to get going, and here comes Kevin Brown around the outside of Howard. He'll get to the fourth position in that number 93.
Yeah, Kevin Brown, really a bounce-back night. We said in the beginning it was going to be hard for him to make those spots up, but there's been so many cautions. He's had enough time to pick stuff up on pit road and really figure out what he needed to do, watching other guys around him driving, and he's really starting to turn his race around right now, Ben.
Absolutely. He was outside the top 10, almost outside the top 15 at one point in this night, and has found himself solidly inside the top 5 here in the closing laps at Bristol. 15 to go, 14 now for Edson at the stripe this time by, and he has got a comfortable lead over Brian Macklin. Macklin really not closing in on him too much, and Comstock not in the picture either, back in that third spot. But for fourth, close call there as Brown almost got the bumper from Howard in turn 1.
Yeah, the battles are starting to heat up as they have caution.
Caution out, J.D. Laird involved and puts himself up into the wall and gets a piece of Chad Cole as well, a championship leader, putting us under caution for the 6th time here at Bristol as we get the replay pulled up, and you'll see just, I don't know, that was an interesting incident there. He kind of was coming down the track. Vincent was there, maybe some contact there, but nonetheless, 46 into the wall, down into the 82, and crash into the inside safer barrier, putting us under caution again. Here at Bristol now, the question is, do we see anybody come down pit road after that short amount of time, or are we done pitting for the night here at the Great Coliseum? That was about 5 laps there, 5.5 laps.
I don't know. We saw on Sunday, we saw old tires not do so well. But, you know, the trucks are a little bit different than the Xfinity cars, so we'll see, Ben. We'll see.
So it looks like everybody going to stay out. That was the time to come if they were going to, and looks like everybody inside the top 12 or so stays out. A couple drivers mid-pack gonna take the opportunity to come down, maybe get some damage fixed and throw some fresh tires for the final. We'll get restarted with around 7 to go, and remember there is a green-white checkered here in Sim500 competition, but only one attempt, and that happens if we have to go into overtime. And that being said, is if we extend the race past the scheduled distance, and we'll restart with a green-white checkered. And for that green-white checkered rules, get the green flag, circle around, get the white flag, get the caution word come out between the green flag and the white flag, then the race will be over. Go to the final, or the last completed scoring loop to get the results for the race. But if the white flag is waved and the leader passes the start-finish line, then most of the time, 9 times out of 10, we'll race it all the way out to the checkered. So we'll keep that in mind. If we do get a green-white checkered, this will not be a green-white checkered, though, on this restart. This will be around, like I said, 7 or so laps to go for this restart. They're coming to 9 right now. We may turn the lights off this time by. So that 19-lap shootout is now turned into a 7 or 8-lap shootout. Let's take 10 seconds and pause for station identification. Welcome back to Bristol. Lights go off atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car, and field doubling up, getting set for what could be the final restart of the night. It is going to be 8 laps here at Bristol. Again, Edson, Macklin, Comstock, Brown, Howard, Coleman. That's the front 3 rows, and we're going to extend this caution. Lights come back on top of the pace car, so not quite sure what that was for. I think there was some scoring issues at the back of the pack. That is going to hold us up for another half mile. Now we'll turn them off and be down to 7 laps to go, and if it was anything like the real world truck race at Eldora, the crowd would have given a nice finger to the to the officials there, but I think we can understand the reasoning why there is. Now it's a 7-lap shootout here at Bristol, so Aaron, hold your breath and strap your seatbelt because it's about to get wild.
Well, I got my seatbelt on. I've had my seatbelt on since lap 1, so it's been a good show tonight. It's been a really good show. I'm really proud of these drivers, and I just hope we can get it to stay green here. We don't want to see any more cautions, right, Ben?
Absolutely. It's been a fun race. It's been a fairly clean race. It's been a calm race. There has been some bumpers given, but it's not over yet. Green flag back in the air. Great restart for Trey Edson. Macklin didn't get off the line real good, and he's going to have some trouble on both sides of him if he's not careful. To the back straightaway. Macklin up to second. Here comes Kevin Brown trying to find himself on the podium here at Bristol around the outside of Comstock for the 93.
Man, what a run. What a race to overcome adversity for the 93.
Absolutely, and there's contact as Coleman sideways, O'Rourke sideways. Everybody keeps it straight for the time being, and O'Rourke still trying to save it on the front straightaway. We stay green, coming to 4 to go this time by for leader Trey Edson.
And the racing definitely picking up the 30, giving it all he's got these last couple laps to catch that 40. Man, what a show the 40 has put on tonight, man.
Absolutely, and how about a comeback for the 93, going to be one of his best finishes in his Sim 500 career. If he can hold on to that 3rd spot, he's got Comstock breathing all over the bumper of him, though, in these final closing laps. Down the back straightaway and through 3 and 4. They'll get the 2 to go. Popsicle signal at the flag stand. Macklin is closing in on Brown. Macklin closing in on Edson. Comstock closing in on Brown with 2 to go.
Edson just trying to get that checkered. He wants this thing so bad after dominating a race, but the 30 is breathing down his neck.
Oh, Macklin got loose. He got loose and he gives it up in turn 1. Macklin with the contact with the wall, loose off of turn 4 down the back straightaway. We said we'd rename it the Trey Edson 150, and we'll do just that. Edson wins at Bristol. Macklin's second. Third goes to Brown in a thrilling finish here at the Great Coliseum.
Wow, what a run for all three of those guys that finished in the top three. What a race, what a finish. What a way to go into the playoffs.
Show. What a race. And I know a couple of those drivers inside the top three are going to be excited. Kevin Brown being one of them. Brian Macklin, if he makes the playoffs, will be the other. And Trey Edson, definitely excited after a dominating performance here at Bristol. He burns them down on the front straightaway. We'll chat with him after a great showing tonight. And we'll also talk with the rest of the podium finishers on a post-race show in the WCIParts.com Truck Series from Bristol. We'll be back with that right after this.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them four abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
How to make a kick-ass Bloody Mary. First, visit your nearest Apollo liquor store in Rochester or Austin. Pick up a bottle or two of Kick-Ass Bloody Mary mix and all the fixings. Then fill your glass with Kick-Ass Bloody Mary and your favorite vodka. Add the Kick-Ass fixings. Now it's time to enjoy a Kick-Ass Bloody Mary, and of course, repeat as needed. Get your Kick-Ass Bloody Mary mix and all the fixings today at any of the Apollo locations in Rochester and Austin. It's just that good.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, and we'll send it down to Aaron Grosskopf, who's caught up with the driver who gets his second best Sim500 career finish tonight here at Bristol. He comes home third tonight at the Great Coliseum after a great bounce back, almost outside the top 15 at one point, Aaron.
Yes, man, I've caught up with Kevin DeBrown. Up and down night for you, Kevin. You really were able to bounce back and finish third. Tell us about your race and your awards.
Yeah, it's a lot better than what happened last week. Yeah, I'm glad we rebounded after getting caught up in a wreck early on and able to get back up there and finish third.
And after hitting the wall under caution last week, finishing third after being a social media nightmare for you this week, what do you have to say to all the people that helped you overcome tonight? Your teammate, Chad, Cole, everybody?
You know, Aaron, I'm just going to let you know my haters are my motivators, all right? I'll just let you know that right now.
Well, the man of few words. Kevin, who gets it done for you to help you get to the track week in and week out?
I'd like to thank y'all guys, Mitch painting the paint scheme, the GOAT paint scheme, Mitch Roller #1, baby. That's right, as always.
I appreciate you, Kevin.
There you have it. Benny finished third tonight. All smiles for Kevin DeBrown.
Yeah, a man of many words. Yes. You figure you finish up on the podium in Sim500, you have something a little more to talk about. The championship standings aren't completely finished yet, and I'm not even going to speculate whether or not he made it or not, but I know it's going to be cutting it close, and I know he's sweating bullets waiting those championship standings to come in. Brian Macklin gave it his all tonight, came close there in the final laps, but a second place finish, really what you had to do tonight at Bristol to try and make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, man, another second place finish, of course. Like you said, we're talking about the points and trying to make it into the playoffs. We were so close coming into tonight. I think we're going to make it. I'm like you, though. I'm sweating bullets trying to wait for the results to come in. But based on what I was looking at, I came into this 7 points behind Jason Jacoby, and I outscored him pretty mightily, so I think I should be in.
Yeah, it's gonna be close either way. It's gonna be a great points battle. I would help you out with the calculator, but my calculator doesn't have any more buttons left on it after after the happenings in the race. Talk about the race though. You were up front pretty much all night long. Had a couple times there where you fell around the fifth spot, maybe outside the top five a couple times, but talk about mentally as a driver how hard you have to push yourself and know that if you don't finish as high up as possible, you may not make it into the playoffs. You may not have a chance for the championship.
Yeah, it was a fine line because I really wanted to go for the win tonight, and I felt like I had a truck capable. I mean, we were running Trey down there at the end. I made a mistake coming to the white flag, and at that point, I just had to back off. But it was so hard because I wanted to go after it. I wanted to see if I could make a move on him, but I knew if I made the move and it was a bad move, it could potentially cause me to lose a bunch of positions and potentially lose the playoff spot. So it was just tough, but. This is one of my favorite tracks. I love coming to Bristol, and I knew I was going to have a pretty good run tonight just based on that. And I think second's going to end up being good enough, even though I think it's my fourth second place finish in this series this season.
Walking the tightrope at about 130 mile an hour is what he pretty much elated to there. Brian Macklin coming home runner up tonight. Who do you want to thank for putting you here in second?
I got to thank everybody at Aftermath Motorsports. Those guys, we're a great team. We're friends, and we hang out all the time. And got to thank everybody there: Trey, David, Fuller, EJ, Adam, a bunch of other guys that hang out with us. And got to thank Sim500 for putting on this show every week, and you guys for putting on the broadcast. You always put on a great show, and looking forward to seeing what we can do the rest of the season. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, there you have it, Brian Macklin, right on the bubble coming into tonight. Still sweating bullets as we await those points. Congrats on the second place though tonight, Brian.
Thank you, guys. Good job on the broadcast.
There you have it, Brian Macklin, runner up tonight, and I know he's sweating. We're sweating up here just waiting for the points, and hopefully we'll have those for you before we head off air tonight. But if we don't, you can catch them over at sim500.com. And as I say that, work my way down to victory lane, and Trey Edson picking up the win here at Bristol Motor Speedway. I don't know how many times you've been to victory lane here at Bristol, but I'm going to go with it's been quite a bit. You and this track just seem to really, really mend well together.
Yeah, I don't really look forward to coming here, but I seem to always run well. So it kind of felt like the Gibbs series repeat tonight. If anyone remembers that race, and it's kind of redemption because I did the same thing last year. I got the pole and led the whole dang race, and I wrecked with what is now my sponsor. I wrecked with him with like 5 or 10 laps to go, so I threw that one away. So it felt good to get a little redemption tonight.
134 laps led of 150. I think that's pretty much code for domination. How does it feel to be so good and out in front of a stout field of drivers?
Yeah, I don't really know what I was doing. It was different from everybody else. I know the first run I had like 7 or 8% more tire than Fuller, and that was just I think from just staying committed to the bottom. It seemed to save your tires, and then the setup was a little tight. So for whatever reason, it worked better down there than up top for me. But yeah, I don't know what I was doing different than everybody. Other than that, Macklin had he found something there them last few laps up by the fence. That was worrying me a little bit. I tried to hand him the race on that last pit stop. I got into my pit stall like a scaredy cat, and luckily, I only had to roll about a foot to the line, so that saved me. And then I don't know if I was being too careful at the end or what, or if he was just balls to the wall or what, but he was making the top work, and I hadn't seen anybody do that all night. So I tried to move up there to protect it and felt like I slowed down.
It didn't look like you slowed down much. You come away with the checkered flag tonight here at Bristol. We send our congratulations for that. You don't have anything to worry about with the points, so we won't even talk that. All you have to do is go out and into the playoffs now and try and get as much points and chase down that championship. How does it feel, racing tonight here at Bristol with no stress at all on the points?
Yeah, luckily we really we put together a good season. Other than a few races, I think you kind of remember the ones you didn't get, but I think I was leading Texas and I lost power. That'll get you every time. And then there was a few races where I made some dumb pit calls where I'd stay out or I would pit, and just it never works out. So, but luckily, other than those few races, we've really been a top 5 machine. everywhere. So I'm looking forward to it. And ironically, I'm looking forward to going to this road course. I think it's in 2 weeks. I don't know. Y'all might know. It's either next week or in 2 weeks. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's one of the few road courses I actually enjoy driving in one of the NASCAR vehicles. So it's got a few blind corners, some ups and downs. So and it's one of them tracks we don't really ever get to race a whole lot. The service don't go there a whole lot. It's like a once a year. So I always look forward to that stuff that we rarely get to do.
Absolutely. That'll be next week, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Wednesday night for the WCIparts.com Truck Series. But for tonight, Trey, I said if you dominated this thing, went on to win, we'd rename it Trey Edson 150. So who do you want to thank for putting you in victory lane here for the Trey Edson 150?
I'm going to hold y'all to that. Like when you make the schedule for 2020 and I look on it, I want that name of the race. Yeah, I just got to thank you guys. Y'all do a great job. I'll probably go back and watch the race tomorrow. It'll probably be pretty boring because I don't know how much of me y'all showed. That's selfish, but hey, you always like to be on TV. Got to thank Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. That's Jason, the guy that I told you we ran into each other here last year, literally, and then we developed a little partnership. So I think I got him into the chase, kind of helping him out this last month or two. Just trying to keep him calm and level-headed and try to keep that 22 truck going forward. So hopefully we got him in. And then thanks Joey. Joey does a great job with this league, man. I ruined my membership with the league probably 3 or 4 years ago doing dumb stuff. So I've tried to be a good boy when he let me back in. So appreciate him and you guys and everyone that makes this thing roll.
Well, there you have it. Trey Edson winner tonight here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Dominating fashion. Good luck next week on the road course.
Thanks, man.
There you go, Aaron. Great race tonight and a dominating performance, like I said, for Trey Edson there. Still waiting on those championship standings, and I'm sure the officials want to make sure they get every thing right before they, make that official. We don't have an unofficial list right now, and I really don't even want to speculate on who made it because there's so many drivers, all right there within striking distance of making the playoffs. So the best thing that we can suggest to you, head to sim500.com, keep a tabs on it, refresh it every once in a while over the course of the night. Hopefully those championship standings will be up to date here shortly. But from tonight, Aaron, enjoyed you up here in the booth with me for a change, and hopefully we can do this a little bit more often.
Yeah, it was definitely a change of pace, man. Pushing the buttons is, it's a tough world. Me and Mitch definitely tried to do the best we can to bring a good show to everybody. It was cool to be on a different end of it, let you guys hear me that I actually do talk and have a voice. I'm not a mute. And I am really excited for the race next week for sure. I'm a big road course racing fan, especially in NASCAR vehicles. Hopefully I'll be in the booth in some way to help you guys do that race, and we'll look forward to that for sure.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Getting Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. That's up in Mitch's neck in the neck of the woods. My goodness, it's championship battle. I tell you, it's got me tongue twisted. That's the only thing. But that's next week, WCIparts.com Truck Series. I want to thank everybody over at Sim500 and WCIparts.com for sponsoring the series. Our congratulations go out to Trey Edson and all of the podium finishers tonight. But for Mitch Rollo and Aaron Grosskopf, I am Ben Kilcrease. Remember to keep a tab on Sim500.com to see who ends up where in the championship standings. You can find us on Facebook. Give us a like, the Sim Racing Network, and also find Sim500 on Facebook as well, Sim500 Esports Racing League. But for all of us here at the Sim Racing Network, good night from the Great Coliseum, and remember, when you're out there on the roads, to put that phone down. We'll see you next time right here on the SRN.